it is absolutely true what you say regarding the U.S. Attorney, Jeffrey Berman, who was fired by Attorney General Barr roughly 10 days ago. The mainstream fake news media was trying to say that Berman was fired because of his intense investigations into Donald Trump's businesses. But that is a fake news lie. The truth is, Berman was fired because he was opposed to the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell and because he refuses to move forward on the Anthony Weiner laptop case. You'll remember that as the case where Huma Abedin, the right-hand henchwoman of Hillary Clinton, forwarded over 600,000 emails, some of them classified, to a computer jointly used by her and her pedophile husband, former Congressman Anthony Weiner. And it is thought that this was her blackmail file. This was her insurance file.
We got a big exclusive with Roger Stone. I had to twist his arm to do this. He's only days away from a potential death sentence. If anything happens to him in prison, it is on this tyrant judge's head. We'll talk about that. The emergency appeal he just filed. Lost his house, doing the show out of an apartment. Nothing wrong with that, but that's how serious and real this is, folks. You don't know the cost of this. Believe me, I've been sued a bunch and attacked. I know what it costs. It's devastating. But we're in a fight. It's okay. He's a winner. He's a fighter. He's not a victim. He's a target. He understands that, but he needs your help. So do we. We're in this together. And then I asked him, like last week, I said, please come on about the Ghislaine Maxwell Epstein. I know you know the inside baseball and where that's going and what's happening with the U.S. attorneys. And so he's got some intel for you on that whole situation. The AP and others reported that she's got tapes of these world leaders. She's got all the blackmail material. Well, the FBI reported Epstein has all these CDs with it. Where are those? We're taking out of the New York facility. So we've got him here for just the next 20 minutes or so. Roger, thanks for coming on with us today. You've got the floor.
Well, Alex, thanks for having me on because, the situation surrounding my case changes so quickly, literally minute to minute. And the Info Warriors have been among my most loyal supporters, including everybody that works right there in your facility, not to mention you yourself. So I always want my supporters who are praying for me, who have helped finance my defense and helped my family to know the latest. You're absolutely right. I'm at 7 days away from being sent to a prison where the Federal Bureau of Prisons has tried very hard to cover up a substantial and growing coronavirus crisis. Last week they had no cases. Now they say they have one. Blowers in the facility, both inmates and prison guards who there, tell us that there are additional cases that are being concealed. But as you know, I'm years old and with a history of respiratory problems my entire life, I would be at great risk. I would be extraordinarily vulnerable. We filed an emergency motion with Judge Jackson based on the government's policy, based on my health, based on the law, and she denied it. Yesterday, we had no choice but to file an emergency appeal with the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, making essentially the case that Jackson was wrong across the board, and that I had a real life and death situation. I'm not confident.
Roger, stay right there. We're having that Max Headroom thing, that show from the early 80s where he would literally from somehow your Skype does that, but we may connect with your cell phone here in a moment, but let me see if it clears up here for just a second or see if maybe some stuff can be shut down there on your computer. But I mean, this is really happening. They've released all these rapists and murderers and criminals, some of which had just served a few months in the case of Harvey Weinstein, but you supposedly lied to Congress, which has been proven fraud. They had a show trial. They had a totally rigged deal, rigged jury. It's all come out, and now you've still got to go to prison. This is insane. Yeah, we're gonna connect with him on cell phone. We're gonna go right back to Roger Stone here in just a moment, and then he's gonna give you the latest on Ghislaine Maxwell and what this really means and why the Clintons and others are so incredibly scared right now. But Roger Stone's defense fund, we can put that up on screen. They've really tried to bankrupt him, StoneDefenseFund.com. And I hope that you will all go there, and I hope that you will support him, because I'm in the same position. The Democrats filed over 50 lawsuits on us. We're down to 8. They've got Georgetown University, the Vatican suing us over our speech. We have the Democratic Party funding groups suing us. I mean, it is a total and complete war. So we now have Roger Stone over the phone and Skype. Roger, please continue with the persecution, 7 days out from jail, the emergency appeal you just filed.
Well, first of all, Alex, you're absolutely right. I never realized how much I looked like Max Headroom. But moving on from that, I'm 7 days away from being sent to a prison where the Federal Bureau of Prisons is dissembling about how many actual cases of COVID-19 they have among both prison workers and inmates. I'm 67 years old with a history of respiratory problems. This is, in essence, a death sentence. By the way, the folks at Media Matters who are mocking me, greetings, guys. No, it really is a death sentence. Make sure you get that in your headline. The point, of course, is that now I've gone to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals to appeal the judge's ruling, to essentially send me to my maker. And we've asked for an immediate emergency expedition of that. But I've been quite candid. I don't have high hopes that the D.C. Circuit is going to do anything other than remand the decision back to Judge Jackson. The important thing is, at that point, I will have exhausted every possible legal remedy my lawyers can come up with, and there is only one man on the planet who I have been very clear that I am praying for, that he will, in an act of mercy and justice, grant an act of clemency so I can get justice in my case. All I want is a commutation of my sentence so that I can follow out my appeal and win. I will be exonerated on appeal, but I have to live long enough. And the appeal, as you know, is a year away and probably another $1 million away.
And let's be absolutely clear about this. This isn't just Roger Stone. We're all Roger Stone. If they can continue to politically persecute people and put people in prison, they admit you're the beta test. As you know, we can't get into it. They want to put me in prison right now. They're trying to build a case against me as well. They're not planning to stop. They've already brought back the Russiagate BS again.
Well, Alex, we're in the same boat for the same reason. We're truth tellers. We have dared to stick our thumb in the eye of the political establishment and tell the people the truth. And I've done so, as you have, without regard to party. The Bushes are just as corrupt as the Clintons. They're equally corrupt, and they're all in it together. Now the worst possible thing happened that they could imagine. Donald Trump, an uncontrollable nationalist, a man who loves America, a man who believes in American exceptionalism and America's destiny and America's sovereignty, comes along and upsets their plan. They had it all worked out. It was going to be Hillary or Jeb. It didn't matter. The policies would be the same. Both families would pocket billions, and the country, we'd sell the country out to the Chinese. That was the plan. And
but guess what? The best laid plans of
the
best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. By the way, your phone's the best HD audio I ever heard. We'll be back with Roger to shift gears into the latest on Jeffrey Epstein and so much more. His advice to President Trump in 2020. Roger Stone, straight ahead. Stay with us. Give me back my bullets. And Roger Stone is definitely a big old magazine of bullets in Trump's truth gun. And we need him to get pardoned or clemency. He's going to jail in 7 days. Political prisoner. More on that in a moment. But first, Roger, I know you don't tell me you got news unless you got news. You live near Palm Beach. You know what's going on with Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, her getting finally arrested, the Southern District of New York U.S. attorney being removed reportedly for blocking the investigation. All of this starting to come to the head. What is the inside scoop on the word that she has these, get out of jail free cards, these secret tapes of world leaders raping children? We know the FBI says there's hundreds of DVDs that Epstein had of this. Where is all that? What is the big breaking news, Roger Stone?
Well, Alex, first of all, those who've been following InfoWars over the long term first heard about Jeffrey Epstein right here. In fact, nothing you have learned about this overnight billionaire pedophile in the last 18 months was not in my book, The Clintons' War on Women, in 2016.
That's right.
Bill Clinton's 28 trips on the Lolita Express.
Which was a blueprint for Trump to go after Clinton when he put out fake allegations against the president and candidate. That's why they really hate your ass.
There's no question. And the fact that two of the prosecutors in my case are closely affiliated with Hillary Clinton, the two lead prosecutors, show you that my prosecution is a vindication, is a retribution play, and it's over my book on Jeffrey Epstein. Now, let's be very clear. Epstein was first convicted in Florida when the Palm Beach city police conducted an extensive undercover investigation, and they were prepared, and they handed the state prosecutor an open shut case for child sex trafficking, child exploitation, and the kind of crimes that end you up in prison forever. The state's attorney ended up charging Epstein with one count of solicitation. The police chief, who was a very honest guy, was outraged. He went to the U.S. attorney for this district and said, something's wrong. Either the prosecutor has been threatened or he's been paid, but we handed him an airtight case for child sex trafficking, the exploitation of at least 33 children who were still in the jurisdiction, and he took a dive. The U.S. attorney, whose name was Acosta, conducted his own investigation, and then he simply rubber-stamped the state investigation and sealed it, hoping that none of us would ever know what really happened. When he was later appointed Secretary of Labor and was asked, what about your handling of Jeffrey Epstein? He said, and I quote, well, he's in the intelligence community. It's their problem, which I think explains the situation here. Now, I know some say that Epstein was Mossad. My research does not indicate that. My research indicates he had worked for the Mossad. He'd also worked for the United States. He had worked for anybody with money.
That's right. He was a triple agent contractor just going around setting people up.
Right, and the blackmail was the entire game here. Now, it's funny to watch liberals try to call him a Trump associate because they ran in the same social circles. But Donald Trump never visited his island. Donald Trump never went to any of his parties. Donald Trump was never on his airplane.
Bill Gates did, and Bill Clinton did over and over again. Turns out Bill Gates would literally stay with him sometimes for weeks on end.
And as I first revealed, I think Bill was going to the island because of his affair with Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the connection. They were having a torrid affair, both in New York and in the Virgin Islands. And it is absolutely true what you say regarding the U.S. Attorney, Jeffrey Berman, who was fired by Attorney General Barr roughly 10 days ago. The mainstream fake news media was trying to say that Berman was fired because of his intense investigations into Donald Trump's businesses. But that is a fake news lie. The truth is, Berman was fired because he was opposed to the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell and because he refuses to move forward on the Anthony Weiner laptop case. You'll remember that as the case where Huma Abedin, the right-hand henchwoman of Hillary Clinton, forwarded over 600,000 emails, some of them classified, to a computer jointly used by her and her pedophile husband, former Congressman Anthony Weiner, and it is thought that this was her blackmail file. This was her insurance file. Officers with the New York Police Department who initially found this material in a routine investigation into Weiner for sex texting underage girls and immediately reported it to the FBI, but NYPD sources have told me that these videos include evidence of graft, corruption, child exploitation, the torture of children. It really sounds like a treasure trove of
and what, 9 of the 12 police officers that saw the videos are dead. Reportedly, it's children being tortured to death. They say it's so horrible, and even General Flynn's lawyer is very respected. She's met with these very people that have they told her point blank. They said, no, it's literally beyond pedophilia. It's chopping kids up.
It certainly sounds that way. So there's no question that if she wants to bargain, Ghislaine Maxwell has a lot to bargain with because her mentor. She was basically a procurer. She would cruise the bus stations, the train station, looking for runaways who would then be groomed for Epstein's own sexual gratification. And then when he got tired of them, he would farm them out to his friends like former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, or former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, or the scientist Stephen Hawking. That's really disgusting. Or who knows? I mean, I think this list is extensive. It includes politicians, people in the financial world, athletes. This guy was keeping tape on everyone, which is why I believe he was murdered. But I'm not saying he was murdered by the Clintons. I'm saying there were many, many, many people and many institutions that had an interest in silencing him. How coincidental. The videos just happened to be turned off. The guards just happened to be asleep. I mean, it's insulting, really, for anyone to think.
Well, that's the next question. How long?
Died of nitric acid courses.
How long do you think she's going to be alive? They're claiming they have the best security team ever, monitoring her every move to keep her safe right now.
Well, obviously, I think that depends on what she does. I mean, we don't know whether she's already agreed to cooperate. We don't know if she is holding back some old cards. Here's what I do know. My new attorney, David Schoen, one of my two attorneys, really an excellent attorney, very brilliant, very aggressive. He had been retained by Epstein for his defense. Epstein paid him on a Thursday, made arrangements for him to move to New York on Friday, and Epstein died Saturday. Does that sound like a man who killed himself?
No. Well, in fact, Epstein's lawyer, I guess you have his lawyer, he's come out and said Epstein thought he was going to be killed. Is that the same lawyer?
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Now, everybody's entitled to a lawyer.
No, I get it. You're not bad to have a great defense. That's how it works. No, I understand that, yeah.
Well, I wish I'd had the same lawyers at trial, frankly, where I'm still confounded about the fact that, for example, Steve Bannon was the government's surprise star witness.
And why is he constantly hanging out? Oh, that's another. We'll cover that in a moment. Yeah, let's get back to this. He told the Senate, well, explain his perjury's cut and dry.
It's really simple. He testified before the House Intelligence Committee. That testimony was classified until about a month ago. He told the House committee he never discussed WikiLeaks with me ever on any occasion at all in 2016. Yet he showed up at my trial as a surprise witness for Mueller. And now he said, Stone and I talked about it in every conversation we had in 2016. I considered Roger Stone our access point to WikiLeaks, which would be news to me.
So what's the truth on Bannon? Because, I mean, why is he hanging out with Epstein?
It's because I think he is a globalist. I mean, when I did the research, every one of the major anti-Trump globalists who weaseled their way into the administration, H.R. McMaster, Rex Tillerson, every one of them, you can trace the patronage right to Steve Bannon. So he may go on TV where he's stolen the name of the radio show started by Owen Schroyer and myself, The War Room. I guess we should call ours The Real War Room. But he talks the talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. I mean, the guy, first of all, when it comes to personal appearance, the guy has pioneered the whole idea of hobo chic. He looks like
he's pioneered. He looks like a reanimated corpse. He looks like a dead body. Let's do 5 more minutes. I know you got to go, but I want to talk about what is happening in the campaign, COVID-19, what you think Trump should do. 7 days out, Roger. I'm so glad your new attorney tells you to go out to interviews. Yes, I love that advice. My God, the whole thing is about shutting you up. What a crime with 118 days left. They want to make the 111 last days with no Roger Stone. That's not American. We are back live. We are broadcasting worldwide. All right, Roger Stone, who I'd like to try to get on every day if we can before they try to throw his ass in prison. There's so much big news, the campaign, other key points you want to make in the short time we have, but separately, Trump's got to give you clemency. He's signaled he's going to do it, but why not go with the full pardon? Why not double down, get in their face and literally make you a campaign advisor or something? I know you don't even want that. You like to be informal, do whatever you want as a free agent, but I just think we need to start doubling down. America wants that. They want us to own it. They want us to just get back in their face and stop groveling. Does that make sense? Roger? We got a little bit of technical difficulty. We're going right back to Roger here as soon as we get him here in a moment. I think he thought that was a 4-minute break. It's a 2-minute break there at the end of the hour. Roger, 2020 election advice to the president. What's your comments to the president? And why not just get a pardon instead of just a clemency, Roger?
They may want to fight about it. It just makes them. It's what they said they weren't going to.
Yeah. I think they may have lost audio to us, but hey, that's the great part about Skype. It's like you're talking to Mars, you're talking to Venus, you're talking to Pluto, you're talking to the moon, you're talking to Antarctica, you're talking to the Keebler elves, you're talking to the Easter Bunny. I think they probably just have lost the feed from us. So that happens. It's the fun of Skype. Roger is a great political operative, a good guy, but he is technical stuff, which is understandable. But in this whole COVID world now,